Becky, it's so great to have you here, and I get to spend time with you, and everybody else gets to hear about your experience because I think, having spoken to you so far, what really comes out for me is just all the experience that you have because you started your first business age 16 with Utterly Horses,
Yes.
which was quite it's quite a staple and a bit of an example, pioneering, not only because you were such a young person at the time, and of course you worked with your mum in
Mhm.
a family business, but you're really shaking up, I guess, the model horses world, and it went a little bit worldwide, did it not?
It did. It's really funny actually, because now when you think back to it, so when I was started at 16, I couldn't actually have a bank account. So again, whereas obviously now in the modern world, it's totally different. You can have
Right.
those things, but yeah, back then I was too young to have a bank account. So
Gosh.
again, parents had to be involved, to actually get that
Okay.
started. But
Mm.
yes, so first business was called Utterly Horses, and it was a model horse retailer, which I always smile because when people say about niche, I can always say, well, actually, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
a lot about that because this is like the niche of the niche of the niche. So the easiest way to explain it is if you imagine Barbie, when you get Barbie, you
Yeah.
get the her and you get the clothes and you cut the car and you get the house. So imagine that for model horses. So you used to buy, we had a range of
Wow.
models, and then you buy all the accessories and the stables and everything. So I mean, at its peak, product range wise, we had about 2,500 items. So and we
Amazing.
so originally started by mail order. Back then when checks were still a
Uh-huh.
thing, and you had to wait like a whole month for something to arrive. That was
Oh.
where we kind of started. And then obviously as the internet grew, we followed that wave. E-commerce had a retail store. We went all around the world with, trade shows, events, things like that. So yeah, just grew
Yeah.
and grew, grew and grew. So yes, I think, customer base all around the world, high,
Yeah.
and things like that. So quite an adventure on
Yeah.
many fronts. Yes,
Oh,
very
it
much.
sounds it. It sounds it. I mean, and what a way to grow up as well in this business that, I mean, learning literally on the go as
Mm.
being young. And I mean, I know that you have, I mean, almost 3 decades of experience now. I think it's around 25, is it not, of just being
Mm.
in business. But I mean, talk about really building something and growing it, and also alongside family too, which I know
Yes.
we can get into and talk a little bit more.
Mm.
And then ever since that practice, so you're this Utterly Horses, you've because it's sold,
Hmm.
and then you absolutely did not stop being an entrepreneur and a business person, and now you do business coaching, and you're also an author because I've
Yes.
I've seen things around monsters and socks and
Uh-huh.
podcasts and
Yeah. All manners of things. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when you look back and you see how all the pieces connect together. So yes, the first business, well, the first big business was Utterly Horses. But I, like any entrepreneurs at that stage, I had multiple other ones, on the go.
yeah.
I mean, oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I had a record label. I was,
Right.
yeah, so to the point that people used to send us demos. And it was, and
Oh,
we used to go to, events and sort of turn up and, you know,
check people out.
yeah, I know. When you think about it, you think, oh my God, how did you do that? But anyway, we
Oh,
kind of did. And
yeah.
and back then, I mean, silly daft things. I had a business. Do you remember iPacks before iPhones? You used to have like what was
Yeah.
called an iPack, and
Yeah.
I used to run a company for that. I used to write for magazines. I used to, all in front of tech.
Amazing.
So it's all these weird, so all these little pockets of experience, when you sort of look
Yeah.
at it, and
Yeah.
then going with Utterly Horses. So after Utterly Horses, actually that evolved. It evolved into Copper Fox model horses, where we actually became a manufacturer of our own range of models. So the ones behind me. So if anybody
Yeah.
sees me on a video call,
Yeah.
these are actually our models. So these are ones that we commissioned, and we had a factory in China. So I'd be out there overseeing all the
Gosh.
production all the time. So again, this is just another layer of expertise. I
Yeah.
could probably talk to somebody all day about injection molding and painting and all the,
Okay.
all those sort of things, which, is
Niche.
very niche again. So it's all funny. But yes, so that company, the Copper Fox, what it actually became, yes, it's still going. We sold it to somebody in the States, and it's still going today. So, and it's quite weird when you look, because I look, sometimes I look, check in on it, and
Yeah.
also I still, the models are still out there, so I can, the legacy of that is still out in the world, which is
Yeah.
yeah, I still quite haven't got my head around it, I don't think, on that front.
Mm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, so but then that expertise I bring with me obviously in today into what I do now, which is obviously business coaching. And it's
Hmm.
more about how it's again, the specialist business coaching is about how to bring those unfulfilled sort of visions for your business to life. So
Mm.
instead of
Mm.
sort of having a business that you kind of tolerate, but it's not quite working, there's something you
Mm.
really would like to do. It's about moving towards that thing you want to do.
Okay.
And I think that's probably sort of the ethos that comes all the way back from where I first
Mm.
started in business. It was
Mm.
about, well, what do you want to do?
Mm.
And let's go and
Mm.
do it. There is no boundaries. Then there's nobody that can
Mm.
stop you really. Let's just go and go and do
Yeah.
it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yeah, so it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody the other day about it, and they sort of said, well, why, how can you do that? And to me, that's normal, to just think of something and go, okay, let's give it a
Do
go.
it.
Let's go and
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it? It's all about the environment. And for me,
Hmm.
growing up, so my family always has businesses. So my parents used to have
Okay.
a engineering company,
Okay.
uh, specializing in automotive parts and spare parts and predictive technologies. So as kids, we grew up visiting all the big automotive plants with Ford, Jaguar, Land Rover. So that's where we grew up, and
Yeah.
that's to us that was normal.
Okay. That was normal.
That was normal, you see. We sat on the board, we sat in many meetings, we knew how to,
Mm.
interact with people and things. But again, it's, that family environment,
Mm.
what
Hmm.
those things you learn without knowing. You know what I mean? It
Mm.
was it was
Okay.
an interesting sort of yeah, just a different way growing up.
Right. Okay. I mean, that was just so normal to see business, to be involved in those discussions or
Mm.
negotiations.
Hmm.
And I mean, it sounds really empowering for you just to be able to be in, I mean, you were so inspired, but just to be given the permission from your parents
Mm.
to say, what do you want to build? Like, where are your
Yeah.
interests? Let's go make it happen. So no wonder by 16, you already probably had 10 years experience of like,
Well, I tell you what, where it starts. So I used to collect the models as a kid, so that's where it came from. So and we used to have horses as well. So classic, childhood passion.
yeah.
And then it began. I used to start trading models on eBay. I used to buy them at boot sales and resell them again. So again, that's you
Yeah.
starting that early of how you could, how to
Yeah.
trade stuff and how to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just grew from there. So that sort of hobby then turned into the business.
Right.
And it was that point of, 16, do you stay
Yeah.
in school or do you,
Right.
I was gonna say escape, but that's not quite the right
Okay.
word.
Sure.
Do you
We'll,
exit? Do
we'll
you
leave
exit?
it.
Um, and it's funny because I do remember at that point I wanted to leave, and the school kind of said, "No, I don't think you should leave." And my parents had to get involved and actually go and sit with the head, the head of the school to actually sort of argue my case as to why I should leave.
Mm, sure.
Which there you go.
Yeah.
So, well,
I mean, you had another idea, and I'm shocked to know that the school.
mm,
Am I shocked to know the school wanted to keep you? Of course, they wanted to keep you,
yeah.
but surely they've.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's also, because obviously, I like school, grades were good,
Mm.
and so there is that aspect of the why they wanted to hang away.
Yeah.
It was quite satisfying though, because I did go back to school years later and did a talk. Um,
Okay.
so that was quite fun
Nice.
as to what happened afterwards. So,
Yeah. Sure.
but
This is
no,
just a message for everyone to leave school and go
yeah,
into
yeah,
business.
yeah. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to do. And that's kind of, yeah, I think it's funny because that still follows me now. Even anybody I meet, I'll be like, so what do you really want to do? I really want to know. Let's build it. Let's do it. It's
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that's to say, that's to me, that's my baseline. That's the normal.
Mm. Sure.
I think I'm even now still discovering that that's not normal.
Mm, sure, sure. But what do you reckon it was about yourself? Was it something to do with the support or your family upbringing and your parents being able to support you? Sort of what has meant that you've been able to go out and do all these things that you wanted to do?
The great question. I think it does come back to that support and somebody believing in you, and also not shooting down an idea,
Mm, mm,
just to have to back then to say, I'm going to set up a business and it's going to sell model horses.
mm,
I so remember going to many like networking events, or even when I did my first awards, and they people go, "Oh, what do you do?" And I used to say what I did, and you could just see their face go, in almost in
Mm.
horror. But
Yeah.
it's that, well, do you know, because it
Horror.
was, well, do you
Yes.
know what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
unusual,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
sometimes, if somebody believes in that, however weird it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes that's all you need to actually
Mm.
make it happen.
Mm.
It is that support and that encouragement and that, well, let's give
Mm.
it a go and let's see what happens. It's kind of that mindset. Let's just try it,
See.
It's never,
Mm.
you're learning in whatever way it happens kind of thing.
Right.
Um, so I think, yeah, environment, support,
Right.
and just the ability to try, I think is probably the key kind
Mm.
of components
Mm.
in that
Mm.
mix.
Okay. Sure. A real mix of just you being, young and brave and willing to go out there and give it a go and explain yourself, even if
Mm.
people were giving you funny looks.
Yes,
And
all the
also
time.
they're just really propped up
Mm.
by encouragement and like older adults, I'm guessing, and just experienced other people.
Mm. I mean,
Um,
because as you say, you were learning on the job.
yeah.
I mean, it was silly things, like how to make a telephone call, or do you know what I mean? It's those sort
Mm,
of things which you have to learn firsthand as to how you
right.
do it. How to speak to a customer, how to, when something goes wrong, what do you
Mm,
do about it? You can't just go
yes.
and hide and, expect it to go away kind of thing. You have to actually,
Yes.
pick up that phone or, have that hard conversation.
Right.
And I suppose that is where that support comes in, especially from family members, is them
Mm,
showing those skills which
mm,
younger people
mm,
don't necessarily have
mm,
or haven't learned because they haven't needed to.
right.
So I suppose that from my point of view, especially with having family within the business, it's those sort of skills that
Yeah.
they helped me to learn,
Yeah.
um, which are essential,
Yes.
especially,
Right.
but retail, well, anything really, services,
Mm,
anything, you need that to be able to communicate and to sort of,
mm,
yeah, just solve problems on the
mm,
hoof, quite
mm.
literally.
And on the hoof, nice one.
I know, I've got all the puns. I can do all of them. Oh, yes. So, yeah. But I think that's the key. I think with family businesses, it is about, you know, yes, they're family, but they're also people. They have different perspectives, different ways of doing things. And it's
Mm,
about where those all come together and where you
right.
can all work as a unit,
Mm,
and bring together everybody's perspectives and
mm,
skill sets to then go
mm,
forward as one. I think that is the key bit. And I
right.
think on that, for family businesses, it kind of gets a bit of a bad reputation, isn't it? Because, don't mix family and business, so, all those sort of things. But
Yeah.
actually, for the ones that do, that is kind of their superpower because
Mm,
that can't be replicated.
yeah.
That mix of people, that mix of learned experience is
Yeah.
unique to those people.
Yeah.
And that is what, is where everything comes from. That's what drives everything,
Mm, mm.
business wise.
Yes, I'm so with you, and I couldn't agree more. And I'm so glad that you share that
Mm,
because it's something I really want to
mm,
share more of and just speak more about. I mean,
mm.
as you know me and you know that about me.
Yeah.
I think there is something so powerful about a unit coming together
Mm,
of, I mean, just people who share the same
yeah.
passion, different skills and strengths, but there is
Mm,
something about the fact that people are related and it's a
mm,
family coming together as well.
mm,
Absolutely. And I guess I was wondering for yourself that I don't know, I focus on the fact that you were a young person when you had your first business,
mm,
but was there something about the fact that the support around you was family as opposed to older great mentors who were
mm,
human beings supporting you?
mm,
Was there something about the fact that this was your parents and your mum and a
mm,
family member?
mm. I definitely think so. That's the real benefit, especially where there is that age difference, or
Mm,
one has more experience than the other, because they know how to encourage you and, to support you. When for example, if I had to make I don't know, a hard phone call or something, and had to get the courage up, mum
mm,
would be there with a cup of tea afterwards, and a biscuit,
mm,
always to say,
mm,
that well done, but
mm,
you did it kind of thing. And
mm,
that wasn't you would those sort of, you know quiet support
mm.
not necessarily would you wouldn't get that from a family member. They understand you like you
Mm,
understand them, and they understand all those different things that are at
mm,
play.
mm,
They know that if you struggle at something and you've managed to do it, then that's a real win kind of thing.
mm.
It's
Right. Yeah.
whereas employees and people that are not family, they would
Mm,
possibly learn that over time, but it's
sure.
not quite the same, is it? I
Yeah.
remember always like because we used to do lots of trade shows, like so big events and things, and
Mm,
there will always be a moment where it becomes really, really busy,
mm,
on the stand.
mm.
We used to have like little 3x3 stands with so much stock in it, that you can kind of move. And when it got really busy, there would be, models flying everywhere and money going everywhere, and it'd be like, I need
Yeah.
a bag. And it and when you're with the family, all you just have to do is literally look at them, and they would know what you
Mm,
needed. So it
mm.
would be literally a look, and suddenly things would move, and so it's those sort of
Yeah. Mm,
that's yeah, I don't know what it is. It's that
mm.
unsaid things
Okay. Right.
is what I think family businesses
Right.
is the positive on that front.
Mm, mm,
Obviously, on the other side, it is a learning curve in
mm,
communication, negotiation, and compromise
mm.
on
Right.
many fronts. But then again, that I see that as a benefit because if you can,
A
you know,
benefit.
yeah, communicate
Yeah.
effectively, that's going to serve you well,
Yeah.
well into the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, 100%. I feel like there's with that communication and when there
Mm.
is the right support, I
Mm.
mean, boy, is it
Mm.
like an
Powerful combination.
absolute, yeah, an
Yeah.
accelerator. It's
Mm.
almost having launched yourself sometimes decades
Mm.
into a bond that would have taken those decades
Correct. Yeah.
as colleagues or two people that have
Yeah.
met as colleagues.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes I feel that family and business. Oftentimes in my role, I kind of coach people how to separate family and business. But then also, and I know that you and I are so going to agree on what I'm about to say, you already know it, but that sometimes being able to then cross into that
Mm.
family realm and then to get support, exactly as you share that after that phone call, then you
Mm.
can go to mum and
Mm.
have a cuddle and
Yeah.
get all that love that wouldn't have been there otherwise if this was
No.
an older person who was mentoring you. So
Mm.
there's something about that blend that's actually so special.
Mm.
Um,
100%. Because we all know that business is a roller coaster ride. It's never, it's never all the good bits that you see on Instagram.
mm,
And to have somebody with you that will
mm,
go to the end of the earth with you
right.
throughout that
Yeah.
is it's just yeah, and you just can't put a finger, a number on it.
Mm,
I
mm,
always remember like when we were doing so Christmas was obviously our busiest time when we were in Model Horse land, and there would be orders coming out our ears. I mean, we would
mm.
literally get there from 6 o'clock in the morning and work all the way through to about 1 or 2 in the morning. That
Boy. Yeah.
because obviously the volume of things. And the family would be there because they knew that if we
Mm,
all pulled together we could get it done.
mm,
Whereas it's that sort of going above and beyond. They know how much it means to you and they are willing to stand next to you
mm, mm,
and, make sure that it happens kind of
mm.
thing. And
Yeah.
it's that sort of, isn't it? That sort of lengths
Mm,
families go to,
mm,
how
mm.
they all do, come together
Yeah.
to make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm with you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so that support. But
Mm.
it's not merely encouragement to
No.
kind of stand in there and shuffle through the stock and grab the
Yeah.
bags and all of those kinds of things. It's more than encouragement. It's understanding of
Mm.
how much that means to an
Yeah.
individual, but then you're also literally in it
Hmm.
too. You're not on the outside looking in saying,
No, it's not supportive work and just, popping in and going out again. It's actually getting your hands dirty and they're actually
"Mm,
literally building it with you,
building
brick
it.
by brick.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's, yeah, I think, again,
Mm,
family businesses, they're just a different way that a business
mm,
is run. It's
mm,
just a different ethos and a different sort of
mm,
mentality.
mm,
Um, but no,
mm.
I mean, actually, just before I call, I thought I'd, have a little look about,
Yeah.
big brands that we have in the world. And I was like, oh, how many of them are, family owned?
Yeah.
Did you
Mm.
know that, Walmart is still family owned?
Yeah.
Mars, Clark's Shoes, obviously Dyson,
Yeah.
very, yeah. So,
Yeah.
all these big ones that, we do know about, they
Mm.
are family
Family
backed
owned.
and
Yeah.
owned still.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is possible,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think a lot of people think of family businesses as being quite small. Do you know what I mean? They
Sure.
think they are sort of,
Mm.
your local shop or,
Mm.
the independent business,
Yeah.
in the town sort of thing. But actually, when you
Yeah.
start digging and
Yeah.
looking at all those big major sort of ones around you,
Yeah.
quite a
Yeah.
few, or especially where they've come from, have been
Yeah.
family run and family owned.
Yes, yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I feel really aware of like
Mm.
what can happen. And when we're
Mm.
talking like billion-dollar companies,
100%.
like absolutely. And I often wonder how come it's not spoken about more that that's a family-owned business. I wonder if that's the
Mm.
thing because I like you getting all geeky and looking at statistics and stuff.
Yeah.
There's loads of evidence to suggest that when people know that a small business is family owned,
Mm.
they trust it more and
100%.
people lean into the family
Mm.
dynamics. I wonder why family businesses don't call it out and leverage on that.
The ones that do almost become stronger. The ones that really champion, we're a multi-generation company or a family, and
Mm,
there's loads of family in the business.
right.
Those are the ones that if you ask their customers, they could probably repeat the story
Mm,
back to you, and they know exactly, where they're going and what they're doing and why they're doing it.
mm,
But then you're right, there are some which are family owned but don't want to shout about it.
mm,
As to the reasons why, again, it
yeah,
could be,
yeah.
there's
It's
quite a
up
lot
to
of
you.
play on that, isn't there, as to why
Yeah,
you don't do that. And it
yeah.
could be, thinking that, you know, that reputation that it has,
Mm,
don't mix
mm,
family and business kind of thing.
yeah.
Or it's a case of, isn't it, not knowing the power of by telling those stories of how it actually
Mm,
can make the
mm,
difference.
mm,
But I think for any family business, I would say definitely to
mm,
showcase that story
mm,
and to really, really let your customers, audience,
mm,
whoever you work with, know that that's how
mm,
you are run and that's how
yeah.
you operate because
Yeah.
it's not something to hide. I think that's something to be very, very, very proud of.
Right. Yes. It's a
Almost, do you know what you need? Like a sticker. Do you know, like, have like a logo,
yeah.
family. It's kind of that,
Yeah.
isn't it? We all look for those symbols that
Yeah.
of sort of
Mm,
pride almost, and to have a
mm,
family business one, I think that'd be fabulous.
yeah.
Something for your list there, Lily. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Add
yeah.
that to your
Yeah,
list.
shout it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think there's something very cool about it.
Mm,
And a real kudos to know that we're in this together. This is what we believe
mm,
in. This business is so central
mm,
to who we are and our identity and what we care about. This is
mm.
our entire family is on board with this and we
Yeah,
care about this so much.
100%.
Um,
Mm. It is because it's, and then coupled with that, you've got, the independent, there's so many sort
mm,
of things it falls into, independent business, smaller business, family
mm,
owned, multi-generational, possibly, it's all
yeah.
there's so many aspects that goes in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, completely. And
Mm.
I wonder if there's anything for you that you would love to kind of share about family businesses, kind of from the inside of really growing up in a very entrepreneurial family and then stepping into a family business, your business, and then also stepping out. Because I know
Mhm.
that the Quietly Disruptive podcast
Mhm.
and then your business coaching is no longer family owned. Am I right?
Oh,
It's
that's a great question. Obviously, it's me. So
okay.
me as a business coach is just me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, when I host events and things like that, the family do get called in. So they are
Okay.
still on the,
Okay, it's always
it's
it.
I think it's kind of what I kind of like is bringing them on the journey with me. Do you know, we've all
Mm,
got here together. Let's all keep going together.
mm,
It is kind
mm,
of that thing.
mm,
And also when you think of the word family, it doesn't
mm.
always, yes, it always means relatives, but it could
Okay.
almost be those close friends,
Yeah,
that you would
yeah,
think as family.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's trying to think about that differently as well. When we say family owned, it could be, that really tight
Mm,
tight group of friends that you
mm,
are your
mm.
chosen family almost,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's kind of the same, and I think
yeah.
it's also just rethinking it in a way, isn't it? It's just thinking
Mm,
about what family business is and
yeah,
how it could benefit whatever you do.
yeah, yeah. Completely. And if there was kind of one thing that you would want people to know about
Mm.
family businesses or the experience of it, or even if
Mm.
that's kind of a little nugget of wisdom, I wonder if there's anything
Oh,
you'd love for people to know.
that's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, wisdom. I mean, I think what probably the most things people worry about is those boundaries, isn't it? Between work
Mm,
and home, and well, especially if you live with family as well. There's
mm.
that again. You've got
The thing.
many
Yeah.
different things, haven't you? And I think it comes back to that communication and having those boundaries in place.
Mm,
Many times around the dinner table, the discussion would be about work and things like
yeah.
that, and it's
Mm,
possible, sometimes that's needed and sometimes it's not, and it's having that sort of
mm,
communication to say, no, actually, we're going
mm,
to leave that there. Let's talk, have something
mm,
else.
mm,
Um, I'm just trying to think. I mean, on the positive, I mean, there's many. I think with many we've covered. I mean, on the negative, I think it is just that because
mm,
it is about that communication. If you can't effectively communicate with the family in
mm,
business and in work, that's where I think the problems,
mm,
do
mm.
come up. And
Right.
I mean, for you, Lily, is that what you kind
Mm.
of help people
Yeah.
to? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, communication is so
Mm,
major to what I would support my clients with.
mm,
And you're absolutely right with, I mean, the boundaries and being able to disconnect
mm,
between home life and business life to the extent that people would want that.
mm.
Because I know that even that, what I just say now is so nuanced, so
Yes.
unique of where that would lie.
Mm,
And I remember you sharing even recently, I think it was on LinkedIn about work-life balance or work-life
hmm
harmony. And
mm,
because some of my clients will be so passionate about what they do,
mm,
they are glad to talk about their business
mm,
all the time, and it works for them.
hmm
And I know they really query to me like, how much are you going to change what we do? Like, are you going to tell us, oh, this is wrong?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
No.
absolutely not. Like, if this is working, then it works. And to what
Mm,
extent that will work forever,
mm,
different question. Things might need to change over time when it no
mm,
longer suits.
mm.
But oh yeah, that was a very long way of saying
No.
absolutely. Communication so key to what I will support people with.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think the other key on that is it's the evolution. What I'm saying is what
Mm,
you implement maybe at the beginning is doesn't mean it's there in three
mm,
years' time. It is that sort of being
yeah.
fluid and adapting to,
Yeah.
how not only the business grows or evolves, but as
Mm,
people how they evolve and grow.
yes.
It's constantly like something that's moving and just forming and reshaping all the time.
Mm,
I mean, for us in as a family business back then, we'd happily talk about business all day, every
mm.
night. And that was okay for us, because
Yeah.
it was just so ingrained and just what we love to do,
Uh,
that we
mm,
just talked about it all the time. But then there was
yeah.
times that when you I don't know, went out or something,
Mm, mm,
then it got left behind and you did something else.
mm,
But again,
mm.
it's completely unique
Very personal.
to
Yes.
that, you
Yeah.
know, who whatever that business is and whoever how big the
Yeah.
team is or whoever the people are in it. And I
Yeah.
think that's also the key, isn't it? It's about a bit like you were saying about those ones that do love talking about it, are you going to make us change it kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's about being, not being afraid to be different, to say
Mm,
actually
mm. Yeah.
we don't kind of like those boundaries. We like these kind of
Yeah.
boundaries. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
instead of having that kind of standard blueprint that goes
Mm,
into
mm.
everyone,
Yeah.
like that classic, you got to work
Yeah.
from 9 to 5, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
that's another
Yeah,
kettle of
we
fish.
yeah.
Another kettle of fish, that one. Um,
Yeah. I think as two people that love what we do,
yeah,
we think, oh, the 9 to 5 thing, I mean,
yeah,
how does that work for people? Because
I
it's
don't
just
know.
people are so unique. And I so relate to what you say, Becky, about wanting to talk about business just all day, every day. Like,
Yeah,
but
and
no,
it,
go
but
on,
that,
sorry.
but no, no, no. But it is, but this is it. There's so many, like you said before, the nuances, the layers. There is a lot of stuff,
Mm,
to take into account.
mm,
As in, all those different people all have different perspectives. Like for
mm,
example, if you say the idea of the 9 to 5 thing,
yeah,
everybody in that family business would possibly have a different
mm,
view on that.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
about, okay, well then, how do you structure it? How do you structure that business that
yeah,
makes everybody agree on something on the same
yeah,
page? It's about that compromise, that no negotiation.
mm,
Is it a case that on Fridays you finish earlier, or you start
mm,
later, or you take it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
again, that comes back to that classic communication, isn't it? It's about
yeah,
having that open
yeah,
conversation
yeah,
and willingness to listen to everybody and their point
mm,
of view
mm,
so
mm,
that you can get the best out of the business, so
mm,
you can all pull together in the right direction rather than
yeah.
everybody going like 10 different ways.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Mm.
find it's one of my favorite things about my work is to
Yeah,
be able to
really.
go into a brand new family
Mm.
and a business, but essentially it's just a room full of people
Mm.
and get to know each and every person as an individual, and
Mm.
then also in a combination of
Mm.
themselves together and then what they mean as a group and as
Mm.
individuals and finding what is best. I
Yes.
find it a really exciting, creative brand new project
Mm.
every time I get the privilege
Mm.
to meet a new bunch of people.
Mm. It must,
Absolutely.
you must, and also some probably sometimes do they people some members of the family find out things about the other members of the family that don't
Mm.
necessarily so it'd be like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, or do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always a discovery and a learning. I mean, as we
Yeah.
always say, business is the best personal development program on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, as like we said before, all those people are growing, through that
Mm.
process and
Mm.
learning different things and
Mm.
on
Mm.
all many levels. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you should definitely prescribe, family businesses for everybody.
Yeah.
Best learning ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk, get to know each other, stay open.
Yeah. Well, it
That's
is,
it.
because in fairness, if you can have a business with a family member and not
Mm.
come to blows, quite
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
you can effectively communicate with anybody over anything,
Yeah.
because you have that way to, is the
Mm.
communication again, isn't it?
Mm.
That's where it comes
Mm.
back to always.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how it was for you when Utterly Horses pivoted and then
Hmm.
was sold. How was that conversation as a family? And
Hmm.
because I know that you care a lot and we talk often about the power of the pivot.
Yes.
And how was those conversations with your family members to sell Utterly Horses to kind of
Yeah.
how
I think for us it was our time to do something different, if that makes sense.
okay.
We had
Mm.
been in that industry for a very, very long time. We had led the way,
Mm.
all from the front, all way, leading the way. And I think we just got to a point as people, almost we just needed that change. We needed a new challenge. We needed something different.
Okay.
We'd taken it so far
Mm.
and almost couldn't take it any further. The
Mm.
market had slightly changed. The
Okay.
our core market had got
Mm.
um, just a bit more difficult to, their expectations were higher than we can probably
Okay.
just because
Okay.
of other things. And I think it was that, it was that joint decision, or, everybody looking at the situation and going, actually, I think the best, would be the best option.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and also, like, as you say, as people, we'd grown,
Mm.
there was something else we wanted to all try. And this was the
Mm.
opportunity to sort of use that as the sort of the launch pad for the
Mm.
next
Mm.
chapter.
Right.
And I think also we come from a thing of, the pivot is not a bad thing. It's a good
Mm.
thing. It just
Mm.
means it's time for the next
Mm.
adventure.
Mm. Yeah.
Whereas I think some believe it to be the failure of,
Yeah.
if I pivot, it means it didn't work and all
Yeah.
those things. But
Yeah.
and also, it's when you pivot, you're not starting afresh ever
Mm.
because you're taking
Mm.
all that knowledge that
Yeah.
you've learned up to that point with you.
Yeah.
You're taking it, you're not discarding it. That's actually coming
Mm.
with you.
Mm. Yeah.
So for a pivot,
Mm.
oh, pivots are great. I know, I love a pivot because it's that next adventure. Okay, where should we go now?
Yeah.
Let's go.
What happened?
And so now, I mean, for me, so after before business coaching, so for after Utterly and that got sold, then
Mm.
I became, so I did a VA. I was a VA. Then I became a LinkedIn profile writer. Then I became a copywriter. Then I became a
Mm.
brand strategist. Right. So
Mm.
it doesn't seem like a
Mm.
logical sort of move, but obviously now
Mm.
as a business coach, it means
Yeah.
I've got all the experience of all those other things,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's the other thing, isn't it? People are afraid of seeing those moves on their CV
Mm.
or whatever and
Mm.
see it's a negative, but it's never a negative.
Mm.
It's just you're
Yeah.
collecting more
Yeah.
skills, more information, just
Yeah.
so you can do something else on the way ahead.
Sure, sure. And it sounds very fulfilling to be able to go and exercise those dreams and those plans that you want to do. And I can absolutely see how today you have taken all those skills and experiences that you've collected to now
Mm,
support people to live with fulfillment through their business, and the
mm,
business is that tool. But I think that you are the queen of the pivot.
Thanks, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's I think it's just, isn't it? It's embracing whatever you've learned along the way and not being ashamed of it. I mean, probably it's
Mm.
funny actually because a few years ago I'd probably never discussed the model horses and never sort of mentioned it. It was that kind of like
Oh.
it's a bit embarrassing. But in the role
Oh.
now, when you can look back with fresh eyes, you see actually, no, no, no,
Yeah.
this was kind of meant to be. This is how it's kind of supposed to have laid out.
Mm.
So, but
Sure.
yes, you're quite right. It is about
Mm.
I kind of like to be the example of what's possible, when you want to do
Mm.
something,
Mm.
because a lot of people I think have those kind of dreams that they want to do and but don't do them.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
my mission is to kind of say, no, 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 let's have a look at that. Let's take that off
Mm.
the out the drawer and see what we can do, and
Yeah.
let's go after it because life's too short. We're only here for a certain time. We might as well make it worthwhile and see what adventures we can have on the way.
Sure. Yes. So
Mm.
with you. I'm so with you. And it sounds like an absolute joy for you. I really see that enthusiasm come from you about supporting people with their journeys and
Mm.
their missions.
Yeah.
And I suppose you have, I guess you have that really unique position of being on every angle that you've been on the inside and the outside, and
Hmm.
you've been the supporter and then the supported, and you've had it all, I suppose.
Yes, a very good point. I've never thought of it, but like that. But you're quite, yes, you are right. Because
Mm.
I think also the other joke is that I'm a business coach that has done business,
Yeah.
which is the other
Yeah.
thing. I mean, yeah, I did do a bit of time in corporate because so after we sold Utterly, I kind of said, oh, I just need a bit of a rest. I need somebody to pay my
Yeah.
bills. So I did go
Okay.
to corporate, and that was just a
Yeah.
shock to the system. That
Mm.
was because
Okay.
I'd never
Yeah.
worked for anybody before. I'd
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
And so I was, there trying to fit in a box and,
Mm.
follow ways of doing things. And
Yeah.
there's me going, are you sure why do you do it this way? We can do it this way. It's so much better. And so that siren song of self-employment
Yeah.
lured me away and off I went again. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sure.
but so what I'm saying is I have, yes, you're quite right. I've seen it from many angles
Mm.
and from all different points of
Mm.
view,
Right.
you know.
Mm.
Which I think is great, for that
Mm.
inexperience and understanding and skill set and things like that. It's the best. You couldn't
Mm.
ask for more, really.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. But that very short stint of corporate and then kind of let's go back
Yeah,
from reality
yeah.
back to the back to
That,
our way of doing things because I think I am completely unemployable at this point, and my people I know and even my clients who I see in therapy who are
mm,
employed, they'll talk about it, and I do genuinely sit
mm.
there and go, you have to explain because how does that work? Like
Yeah,
my very entrepreneurial brain,
yeah,
I don't understand why did they do that?
yeah. I know, and it was because so what it was is I worked for the Imperial War Museum, so the and I worked at their one of their branches. So I started as like a ticket seller, selling tickets and things like that, which fine. And and then over the years I rose the ranks, and so I left as assistant manager
Mhm.
because you just were doing different things, challenging different things and things like that. And it was all those sort of policies and procedures, and you're like, well, why do we need a bit of paper for that? And all
Mm.
I want is to go and do, just do it slightly differently. And it was the
Yeah,
pushback, and
right.
it was very. I think also because I always had presumed they did it a certain way. From the outside, it looks like
Yeah,
they've got everything together, and
right.
but then to look behind the
Mm.
scenes and realize it's all held together with some
Mm.
sticky tape.
Mm. Right.
It was a bit, yeah.
Um,
So it's interesting, isn't it? I think just
yeah.
trying, and again, it's coming back to trying different things, isn't it? And
Mm.
just
Mm.
and seeing what happens.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this
That's
because
all right.
I think
With
you really do have that experience that people lean on, and I know that this is what you do today is helping people put those things together, and making it happen. And I guess like the proactive. pivot queen is maybe.
Thank you.
I've just titled you. I hope that's okay.
I'll take that one. I like that one. Thank you.
Okay.
But it's actually also this conversation, it's actually made me realize almost how you and how I
Mm,
almost are a family member to the businesses that we work with. I know
mm,
that sounds weird,
yeah.
but you know what I'm saying is when
Mm,
you go into in a business,
yeah.
you kind of become part of that family temporarily, don't you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you are part of that team figuring out the way forward for them
Yeah.
and sort of sh almost sharing with them how those different members can,
Yeah.
work together and what benefits they have and everybody learns.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to what I do. So when I work with clients, it is
Ah,
like we're literally shoulder to shoulder. It's like I'm here with you,
ah,
I'm
yeah.
part of your family temporarily,
Right. Okay.
which I hadn't thought about, which is a very, very, yes, thank you for sharing that because
Mm,
that's something that just
yeah,
sparks for
good.
me. So
Okay, sure. Almost like offering like that mum role that
yeah, kind of,
your
yeah,
mum, your
yeah,
very real mum gave you when you were young and figuring things out. I mean, not only when you were young,
yeah,
even today when it happens when family gets roped in. Um,
always, always.
yeah, yeah, but
Given a shirt with a logo,
uh,
off we go, let's go.
yeah, yeah. I think there's something about the logo. If you're wearing
Oh,
the logo,
always.
you're in the team.
That's it. You're part of the club. You're in.
You're in now.
Love a logo. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, but it's kind of that part about offering for your clients like a family member figure, just
Mm,
pure support and dedication, someone who understands
mm,
and is there to really like muck in, plow
mm.
in, and what was it? Hoof to hoof
Oh, always. Yeah, literally on the on the hoof.
on
Literally
the hoof.
helping on the
That's
hoof.
it.
Yeah. So
That's
no.
it.
But is
Perfect.
that, isn't it? And I think that's maybe, hopefully from this conversation, it's maybe just for people to think about family businesses in a different way. Yes, they can be relatives, but maybe
Mm,
there's somebody that's more of a
yeah,
family figure.
yeah,
Again, yeah, it's that
yeah.
however you perceive it, isn't it?
Yeah, yes,
Mm.
yeah. I think there is something really we could get all clever. We could get on like our clever clog seats here and be like, yeah, what's a family? Because
Mm,
all of those values and like key
mm,
qualities can absolutely be a part of any people.
mm,
And like
mm.
I think it's I mean this is really now getting all
Oh,
this,
yeah,
is
we're
my
geeking
clever
out.
clogs hat on.
Yeah.
But you do, it's the question of like, what is a family? And
Mm,
what does that mean to be a family? And
mm,
like, what are these relationships and how do people
mm,
communicate?
mm,
And even if that's like a husband and wife or mother and daughter or,
mm,
you know, business person and business mentor, business
mm,
coach like you.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one actually. It's probably to ponder because I think there's probably some companies out there that aren't family, actually, as in blood family,
Mm,
but they
mm.
would have that
Yeah,
ethos of family
yeah,
as to how it operates and how it does run,
yeah, yeah.
which is again just a testament to what
Mm,
happens when you
mm,
create that family
mm.
ethos or way of
Yes.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even
yeah,
if what I'm saying, whether they're blood or not,
yeah.
what you create still is
Yeah.
the power source and the fuel for that business going forward.
Yes. Yeah. What a leverage. What a power.
Yeah,
How
they are.
exciting.
Mm,
And I'm really glad to hear more about your story and Utterly Horses and just your family and as well as that kind of family-like bond that you
mm,
give to your clients today of just helping them kind of do what they are passionate about and what they
mm,
have dreamt about and just needing that support to make that happen.
mm.
Mm.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, the more weirder the idea, the better, honestly, because
Okay.
it's
Sure.
because I think it's more, isn't it, about that, it is about just trying things and, seeing what happens. And, I mean, there's so many businesses out there today, especially weird ones that a few years
Mm,
ago you've gone, oh, that wouldn't
yeah,
work. And
yeah,
now they're just, quite
yeah,
normal. So
yeah,
what
yeah,
could people do if they all said what if and went after
mm,
what? I'd
yeah,
love to know.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Mm.
what if plus support equals?
Oh,
Oh, now we're talking.
now we're cooking with gas. Yes.
Sure.
But yeah, it's one of those questions to ponder, definitely for
Yeah,
today.
yeah. No, love it. But Becky, thank you so much for this
No,
conversation and coming
pleasure.
on to talk because I think you've got so much insight and thank you for sharing.
No, thank you. It's been lovely just to chat and reminisce and well, hopefully,
Mm,
as it is, to inspire some others to, consider it really,
mm,
not to not be afraid of it, to be curious and just say, okay,
mm,
let's have a little look and see what this is like.
mm.
And also if you are a family business, then yeah, we'd love, to champion you more
Yeah,
almost, you know what I mean? And to
yeah.
show how it is a benefit. And,
Mm, mm,
family businesses almost are the backbone of, many
mm.
sort of,
Still,
oh,
yeah.
still, and it's all those
Mm,
ones that you don't realize. And I think
mm,
it'd be lovely, isn't it, to showcase that more and to
mm.
share their stories and just,
Yeah,
yeah, introduce them
yeah,
to the world, really.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Thank you for
No
saying that
worries.
and sharing.
No,
And thank you so much. Yeah.
pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.